also had the topic of capital and being able to actually finance the company. And that was incredibly difficult, right? The notion of venture capital was very nascent in South Africa at the time. The other dimension in South Africa is that capital is also highly concentrated. This is just coming out of sort of the apartheid sanction times. Like, whether we like it or not, those dynamics still exist in terms of, how capital is structured and concentrated. So we had to get pretty smart about being able to raise money from abroad. And in those early days, it was very much, angels and family offices. And, we syndicated them into a company, we called it Yoco Investor Company. And that's basically how we funded ourselves in the early days before we did our first institutional round in 2017. Folks who raised in 2021 and aren't able to strengthen their balance sheets in some form over the course of this year and through to the next. Things are going to get quite difficult going into next year from a runway perspective. And yeah, my hope is that, leaders are being prudent, are really beginning to hunker down on the topic of profitability, and really becoming ROI orientated, and can really, do whatever they need to in order to weather the storm, because it's not going to be an easy time. But you know what? We all know that it's during these times that great organizations are built, great models are built, great ways of working are uncovered, just sort of coming out of constraint. And I would say one thing that's interesting about our part of the world, and I remember having a conversation with one of our investors about this, is that, we've had to deal with funding challenges from the onset, right? It's nothing new to us, and learning how to navigate that, being smart and being deft. So I think that's the one good thing, is that I think for a lot of these companies, the crunch in the capital markets is nothing new. The opportunity in Africa is also the challenge, and the investors who can wrap their minds around this, have a bit of patience, will over the long term reap significant rewards.